Kendall is our referee tonight, in charge for his second successive grand final. His touch judges Scott Michalauskas and Tom Grant, and the video referee is Ben Thaler. It's going to be Wigan who'll get us underway in their usual cherry and white. Saints not in the red V, in the blue V tonight, but don't worry, Saints fans, they've tasted success in this strip as well in a grand final. Barry, already?
I come desperate to get in, Bill. Did you see the line speed and the determination from Willie Isa straight from the kickoff? Both sides will look at the middles, they'll look at the big men, try and restrict those meters and restrict that momentum. Set the stall out, Willie Isa.
Well, Alex Walmsley's first touch of the game. You can see that knee strapping after the knock he seemed to pick up in last week's victory against the Catalan Dragons. But I think they were being very cautious in that game, making sure that Walmsley was fit for this big contest, which he is, which James Graham is, his Jake Bibby, a grand finalist last year in Salford colours, scored in fact their only try of that game. Here is Bevan French now, and Saints will be keeping a close eye on the Wigan fullback, a dream team pick, of course, this season. Quite a few of them out there, dream team choices. And he is a threat, as is Lachlan Coote, the Saints fullback. Bullock plays the ball just inside their own half, and Partington is quickly closed down. The young man can expect plenty of attention. He has been giving it out this season. The high kick. Coote is underneath it, claiming it comfortably.
Well, they would have talked for it in the opening days of the week, saying about, look, you've got to expect some intent, something white. The opposition's going to come out firing. There's a few scores to be said as well. Like I said 4 weeks ago, the game was incredible. I've never seen a game like it this year. How ferocious that they were. They just tore into each other from the start. And the way that they're going to go about the business in this game, it's going to be tough. There's the first penalty.
First high tackle of the game. It was on Bentley.
James Bentley standing up as well, not happy with that. Good footwork. He comes back on the inside shoulder of Liam Farrell, one of the 5 nominees for the Men of Steel this year. It's been an outstanding season for him personally.
Next line, boys.
But first penalty.
Next line.
In the favour of St Helens. Sorry, Bill.
Rush of blood early on. Bentley on the receiving end of it, but no harm done. And here is Walmsley now. And Saints advancing only about 15 metres or so away from that Wigan line. Here is Theo Fage. And now Zebtea. A lot of talk about Lachlan and Graham moving, leaving, retiring. Zebtea is moving on as well, leaving the Saints. Here is James Graham now, hoping to bow out on a high note after his illustrious career. Gets the ball away. Roby will drive for the line, but he is driven back by the Wigan defenders, almost back from where he came. And Fage will try. Fage is stopped just short of the line as well. 4 tackles gone. The referee calls time off.
Or is it James Graham? James Graham, who got that offload away. A little bit of frantic play from St Helens, some offloads from second phase. And James Graham, well, he doesn't stay down unless there's some concern.
It's the left arm that is the problem.
He's underneath, right in the rib cage. We know Thomas Luluai.
Well, he hits on suspicion, doesn't he, Thomas Luluai? He's expecting James Graham just to come on that little short ball at the road. He's nice and relaxed, knowing that he's not going to get the ball. Only managed to last 21 minutes last week. There'll be a lot of eyes from the Wigan forwards on James Graham. You can see the whiplash. He's looking at what Theo Fage is doing. He's not expecting the hit from Thomas Luluai.
Well, that goes in the memory bank, doesn't it? Especially in a big game. Last one of the year.
It's going to take more than that to keep James Graham down for too long, and Lomax trying as well. That's the 5th tackle now, and Saints 3 thrust towards the line. The kick from Roby, and Walmsley was chasing it.
Well, all about trying to build some pressure in the right area of the field. Saints are really good at this. On the last play, they looked up over the right-hand side, seeing if anything was on. There was no real call to James Roby. He takes control himself, kicks the ball through. Alex Walmsley is going for it, and the ball's just not dead.
Yeah, I think he's called. The referee who's right on the spot is correct. James Roby already having a growing influence in this game. Just a couple of minutes and that's a wonderful kick.
It's a goal line drop out, police.
Alex Walmsley only a fingernail away from it.
Okay, Jackson.
Jackson Hastings trying his luck there, suggesting that it was a restart on the 20-metre line, but it's a goal line dropout. So we had the first penalty, we've had the first goal line dropout. Oh, James Graham runs into a big tackle from Willie Isa. There's no sentiment out there.
And let me tell you, you don't really want to be carrying the ball after you took a shot in the ribs like that, but he was tasked with it and he come up with it.
Here is Walmsley winding up for a big charge at the Wigan defence. Christian Wolf looking on anxiously at the opening salvos from this game, which are mainly being fired by St Helens, and Wigan are sustaining a bit of a bombardment. Lomax tackled by Hardaker. Here is Graham again. Walmsley puts the brakes on, and Singleton, twice a grand final winner with the Leeds Rhinos, makes the tackle. Brad Singleton. So Farge hoists the kick. Makinson will challenge for it, and it's claimed by Joe Burgess.
Well taken, probably one of the biggest on the pitch. Joe Burgess, you can see Saints now will try and really get off the line and do some damage themselves in defence and try and force an error.
Well, Wigan, with Bevan French, have survived.
That's a good kick. That's exactly where you want it. Pressures the opposite. And again, just trying to restrict those meters, getting the numbers in, making it slow for St Paul. Will be a big plus back in this side after missing last week.
Here is Oliver Partington, his first grand final. The 22-year-old, and Hastings kicks, doesn't get much distance on that, and he was pressured, and it was Graham doing the pressuring. He is everywhere in the early moments of this game, James Graham. He wants to bow out on a high.
A good start from Saints. It was a good defensive set, only 26 metres made by Wigan Warriors, and a deep kick. And look where they are now on tackle 2, just about approaching the halfway line. The arm wrestle is in action as we speak, Bill.
Zebtea, his 108th St Helens appearance, his last. Is he going to go out as a winner? They are 40 metres away from that Wigan try line. Thea Farge. Here is Bentley. In outstanding form, James Bentley. Roby now. Thea Farge, and Farge again with the kick, again into the corner. And Bevan French went for it, and it's Hastings. But it was a knock-on by the Saints.
And again, coaches will talk about getting to the end of the set, getting to the kick, turning the ball over on your terms. Tommy Makinson goes up for it. Might have been a little nudge from Joe Burgess, but he loses the ball, goes forward. And you look at both of these sides last week in the semi-final against Hull and against Catalan. Neither side conceded a try. Defensively, they were absolutely awesome.
Good defence from Saints there to drive Burgess back.
Oh, yeah, he ends up a little bit dangerous there. Gildart with his hands fairly low. He's keeping his legs pumping, and Zebtea, firstly trying to halt his progress, secondly trying to lock up that ball. They almost flip him. Yeah, and thankfully he comes away from that unscathed, everybody.
Penalty apiece then. Wigan will welcome that. Adrian Lamb, Coach of the Year in the Betfred Super League Awards. Very proud to achieve that accolade. Here is Willie Isa. And now Joe Bullock, 28 years of age today, Joe Bullock.
That's a good carry. Good carry from the young front rower. Not young, is he? He's 28.
Liam Farrell. And Wigan venturing into Saints territory. Farrell plays the ball. 3 tackles gone this set. Hastings, here is Luluai. Luluai gets it to French, and French trying to wrong foot the Saints defence, but Morgan Knowles will have none of that. Knowles makes the tackle. Here is Hastings now. Partington. And Wigan, 5th tackle, at 25 metres away from the Saints line as Hastings goes to air. And Regan Grace claims that one comfortably, almost slipped the clutches. Hardaker and Isa making sure he didn't. And Coots scoots. Good run from Coots.
Oh, he's so composed at the back, isn't he? Coop. Regan Grace gets that in, just pokes his nose through the line. Here's Tommy Makeson again. The back three for both sides make lots of meters, getting the side going forward before the big units get onto the ball, the likes of Graham and Walmsley.
Graham runs into another big shot there.
He's not well, James Graham. You can see he's holding that rib.
It's Walmsley. Walmsley with the run, and Walmsley, good job that Brad Singleton stopped his progress as Walmsley was making a dent. Lomax with the kick. French plenty of time.
There's an escorting back play here, Bill. As you see that kick go up, it's high, and the chasers in the blue and white shirts of St Helens, as you see, Zach Hardacre, left shoulder, little bump to Regan Grace. Easy penalty, good field position here for St Helens.
James Roby just checking with his colleagues as to the strategy. So this is a golden opportunity for Christian Woolf's side to break the deadlock here. Coming up to 10 minutes as Walmsley, another strong carry from the Saints' number 8. Roby, here is Theo Farge. Farge, nice ball back on the inside to Lomax, but the Wigan Warriors were waiting for him. They're only about 8 meters away, maybe, St Helens. Here is Graham once more. If he is struggling, he is brave, but whoever doubted that about James Graham? They're playing the Warriors, but there is a true warrior in this Saints side, and here is Lomax. Lomax gets a pass away to Zeb Taylor. Good work by Hardacre up top, Willie Isa down below. Roby to the short side, little kick from Coop, well picked up from Bevan French. Good hands from French on his own try line. And he's had to be good, that.
Yeah, there's a bit of panic, isn't there? Whenever you kick the ball and you don't get to it, you're looking for what Bevan French is, the game breaker that he is. A bit of panic, and all of a sudden the magnet, the defenders just come flying in. Both sides are really feeling each other out there. So I'll guarantee, you know, if the Wigan defensive coach, Matty Pete, would have said to the Warriors, go after Walmsley, Graham, McCarthy, Scarsbrook and Amo, all 4 of those were injured last week. Let's just test them out early, see how they are.
Hastings loops the ball over the top to Zach Hardacre, and Hardacre immediately hounded down by Lomax and Graham. Here is Hastings, and Hastings having to kick from deep.
Bill, 12 metres on that occasion the Wigan side made when they were trying to cart the ball forward. There is intent in the line speed from St Helens, but they're not missing many tackles. It's smothering defence from the Saints side.
Well, they've had the better of the opening 11 minutes here at the KCOM Stadium in this Betfred 2020 Super League Grand Final, that's for sure. And here is James Graham. Graham, lovely little offload, and Roby puts the foot to the floor. Bullock makes the tackle. Walmsley, here is Theo Farge. Farge, Morgan Knowles now. The Welsh international. Just inside the Wigan 20. Here is Theo Farge now. Farge, Nagama quickly on to Makinson, nowhere for him to go. Immediately goes to ground. Kevin Nagama, scorer of a hat-trick last week. Good hands, it's Nagama again, it's Makinson. Makinson, little flip inside, but Wigan will be happy with that defence.
They're just running out of space, then they go back the short side. They just can't get Makinson free before he's forced out of the field, and the change of direction by Saints, the aggressive running from them, the forwards, the field position that they've got on, what Barry mentioned about just 12 metres that they made carrying the ball. Saints are well and truly up for this defensively.
They're on top early on. John Wilkin, former Saint, is pitchside for us tonight. John, what do you make of the opening 12 minutes?
Yeah, well, I agree that Saints are well and truly up for this defensively, but how hard are this Wigan team to break down? Saints have had a lot of pressure, applying a lot of pressure, but Wigan's defence bends but very rarely breaks. Fantastic edge defence from Wigan. It's just a question of how much energy they're expending repelling Saints right now.
Thanks, John. More from John Wilkin in the course of the game. French. Burgess takes the pass. Joe Burgess, another one of the experienced campaigners in this Wigan side, and Hastings makes a bit of room to get the kick away, but it's into the arms of Regan Grace. Eyes on the ball as he claimed that, and they've got to be careful. We saw what he can do if you kick to him and leave him room to run against the Catalan Dragons last week. He was gone. Here is Makinson from the other wing. He's always looking for work, Tommy Makinson.
Well, 172 metres he made last week in that game against Catalan when they scored 8 tries. And so Zeb Tehe and Johnny Lomax, just look at how controlled they are with that attacking shape.
Good shape to this attack. Nagama, Hastings, had a great game as hooker last week for Wigan in Sam Powell's absence. Sam Powell back tonight. There he is, just on the edge there, wearing 9 for the Warriors as Graham takes the tackle. Here is Theo Farge. Farge, again, they put the kick in, and Farge is left on the ground, and there's a roar of disapproval from the Saints coaching team on the sidelines. But Farge is back on his feet. He's a tough cookie.
You just get the feeling, don't you, when Saints kick to their right and kick to Joe Burgess, it's a better set for them defensively. There's the kick pressure from Liam Farrell. He's up quick and perfectly legal, and just letting the small, diminutive halfback know that every time you get to that last tackle, you better watch out for me.
We're going to be glad to have Sam Powell back, well as Jackson Hastings played last week, but Powell has been rock solid this season in his 5th grand final. And Wigan again having to kick from well inside their own half, and that kick comes down in Wigan hands, but they're offside.
Players offside in the turn.
Well, the Warriors just trying to get that valuable field position from some strong defence, but got to make sure that they work with the referee. The referee's trying to work with them, saying, you're offside, stay out of the play. You can see him just pointing with his right hand, telling them to stay back.
Back, Sam. Turner, come on.
Feeling the cold, Adrian Lamb, because it is chilly night here in Hull. Also maybe feeling a little bit anxious because his side have done a lot of defending in the opening 15 minutes of this contest, and Saints have been asking the questions. Here is Morgan Knowles, try scorer last year in the grand final victory against Salford. Lomax, Zeb Tehes, to Coote gets away from the first tackle. Willie Isa, Zach Hardacre eventually stop his progress. Lomax now, Lomax to Coote once more. Now he's Roby, only about 4 metres away, 4 or 5 metres away from that Wigan line. 4 tackles gone. Farge, here is Lomax now. Lomax toying, takes the tackle in the end. It's the 5th. And what will Theo Farge come up with here? Farge, it's a little angled kick, and it's 6 to go, says the referee. It was played out by the Warriors.
Yeah, Ollie Partington just stuck his foot out then. Not going to let the ball go through to the fullback Bevan French.
Big opportunity for the Saints here to break through.
They are clinging on here, Wigan.
Roby's pass, Farge, short ball, good defence. Stops Morgan Knowles in his tracks. Here is Lomax and Jack Welsby cuts back infield, but just had to adjust to take that pass. It was just behind him, lost his footing. Here is Wormsley wraps it up and runs into the Wigan defenders. Farge now, Farge again, kicks crossfield. Makinson climbs, bats it down to Nagama. Nagama's bundled into touch, and Wigan survive again, but how long can they keep on surviving?
This is outstanding defence. John Wilkin talked about Wigan and their line proud. As soon as it looks like one of the mates is in trouble, there is a cherry and white shirt rushing across. They don't surrender, and they don't concede line breaks. They lead the league up until this point. They're the meanest defence, and you can bang and bang and bang on that door, you will not get through.
I agree. The defence has been brilliant, the scramble's been brilliant, but like you said, Bill, how long can they keep holding on? They are brutal when they're attacking or defending up near your try line. They whack harder than anybody, but near their own try line, nobody wants to defend.
Conversely, Saints might just at some point begin to wonder we've got to start making the most of this possession, because surely the tide is going to turn at some point. Wigan are going to get their turn. Tony Clubb is on.
Move! Don't go over here. Hold.
As Christian Wolf sends down more instructions, and Hastings kicks high and deep and into the hands of Lachlan Coots, one of an elite bunch of players who's won grand finals on both sides of the world, in the NRL and in Super League. Coots.
There's one of those runs from Tommy Makinson. Bill, you said Tony Clubb is on the field. We talked at the early stages of this game about Saints and how they would attack the middle. Well, Powell, 21 tackles. Singleton, 20 tackles. Joe Bullock, 19 tackles. They're going down that middle channel, tiring the big man out. Early kick from Roby.
Looking for a 40-20 and not getting it, just a thing short of the line.
Only just, there must be a millimetre in it. An intelligent kick from Roby early on in the tackle count, way behind the 40-metre line, and it just bounces, just takes a late, skewed bounce by the experienced warhorse.
How good is James Roby? No, he could play 80 minutes week in, week out. He could do 60 tackles, but his skill level never drops.
So Wigan looking to break the shackles that Saints have got on them in the first quarter of the game. They have hardly ventured into Saints territory. Can they do something this set of 6? Luluai, here is French, wide to Bibby, and Bibby. Regan Grace makes the tackle just inside the Saints half. They are now. Here is Tommy Luluai, signed on for another year. That'll be good news. And here is Oliver Gildart, and Gildart running, gets the ball to Burgess, and Burgess cuts in field. Referee is going to bring him back.
Is there a crossing? Does he run around his own player?
The first infringement is a pullback by Bentley, who's then been pulled.
Or is a pullback, the referee's saying?
It's a penalty to Wigan.
Well, I didn't see it when it was live. It was good play, wasn't it? Over on the right side for Wigan. Jay Bibby did the right thing, stayed in field, played the ball quick, and then Wigan shifted the ball right to the other coast. And there's a bit of, well, for me, Bentley and Jackson Hastings, I think that's 6 and 2 threes. It goes in the favour of Wigan. This is, you're right, Bill, this is the deepest the Warriors have been in Saints' territory.
Well, now it's Saints' turn to do a bit of defending. Can they measure up as Wigan have done in the opening quarter of this game with some sterling defence? And now we'll see what the Cherry and White's attack is like. Singleton, 5 metres out. That's the second tackle. Powell, Hastings, Partington coming back infield. Roby there among the tacklers. Sam Powell to Hastings gets it to Luluai to Liam Farrell. 4 tackles gone. 5 metres away are the Warriors. It's Luluai, the ball spills from him, and it's Saints who have it, but Saints concede it. There's a knock on there.
First knock on Saints, I think, Bill.
I'm sure it will be.
To play the ball there, Wigan ball.
Yeah, there's a celebration there from Brad Singleton. He knows that in the first quarter his side have been under all the pressure. They've showed that control and that patience when it's been time to defend. They've turned up and they've defended. Now it's time for the Warriors to apply some pressure to the Saints.
Grimace from Cook Islander Zeb Ter once the Catalan Dragons Adrian Lam, hoping that his side can take advantage of this situation. They've had a penalty, and then on the back of that they've had a Saints knock on, and they're only about 10 metres away from that Saints try line. Here is Powell now. Powell for Hastings for Tony Clubb. In his 15th Super League season, Clubb. Short ball finds Singleton. 3 tackles gone. Powell. Luluai to Farrell once again. And the Saints defenders there once again to stop Farrell's progress. Bentley leading the way. Here is Powell now. Powell Tommy Luluai's pass to Jackson Hastings. Hastings to Bevan French, and just good work from Welsby.
That is great reading defence from the youngster.
And you could hear the roar from the sideline from the Saints camp at that tackle. Ball batted down, and it's Bentley who gets to it first.
Well, isn't he a good player? Bentley, normally high 40s in the tackles every week for Saints. Tommy Makinson again, Willie Isa. It looks like he's been shot out of a cannon a few times in this game.
Well, Saints bring the ball away. Is it Isa who's down still? No, it's...
Is it Sam Powell?
Whoever it is, it's Joe Burgess, I think. He's pretty groggy.
It was mean line speed from Willie Isa. Bad intentions going off that line, trying to halt his progress. You know you need to meet.
Well, there you go. He just clips the hip of Willie Isa.
You know you need to meet Tommy Makinson. Put your body in front of him or he'll beat you. And Willie Isa, well, he's running too fast to make those subtle changes that he needs to make that tackle on Tommy Makinson. But if he can slow Makinson down and allow his teammates to complete the tackle, that's his focus. And he ends up Joe Burgess smashes into the knee of Willie Isa.
Look at this from Jack Welsby. That's quality. That's on a player who has had all the freedom this year in Bevan French, a real star of Super League in 2020, but that youngster handled him, and he had to make sure that when he pulled the trigger to go in to get him, made sure he took him down. 19
years of age. I mean, Harry Newman got Young Player of the Year.
We have got some outstanding players.
Welsby was a candidate, and he is a versatile Young Player of the Year.
Centre, standoff, winger, full-back. When you think about the times where he's had to slot in, whether it's been from the start or during games, he's taking over from world-class players all the time, and nobody mentions the fact that he's playing where he's playing. He's a wonderful, talented player.
Well, yeah, Mark Percival, of course, unfortunate to miss out, and it is unfortunate. Liam Marshall, likewise, another one whose season was ended by injury in the Wigan camp. Ben Flower missing tonight, and that's the end of his Wigan career. Joe Burgess, let's hope it's not the end of his grand final as he's led from the field for a head injury assessment. So the coach looking on anxiously as the wingman goes down the tunnel. That's going to mean a reshuffle.
Yeah, he's in good hands with Professor Brooks on his left shoulder. They'll give him the correct time and assessment, and hopefully for Wigan he can come back.
Play continues. Saints in possession. Zebtair just inside his own half. 24 minutes almost gone. Still waiting for the first points of the game. Fifth tackle. It's another stinger from Saints, from Wigan on Saints, and it's a big kick, and French is underneath it, and the reception committee is there for him, Grace and Welsby, but he gets to quick play the ball. Here is Jake Bibby now.
And again, good timing in defence from Saints. Wigan just trying to chew those metres up, bringing the ball away. Willie Isa under some enormous pressure from Walmsley, Bentley and Matty Lees. Look at that line speed over on the right-hand side, getting up really quick, cutting down the options for Wigan.
Here is Tony Clubb. That's the fifth tackle. Again, Wigan from deep in their own half. Hastings with the kick, who's inside his own 40. The kick straight down the middle of the field into the arms of Lachlan Coote.
Bill, another change for the Wigan Warriors. Morgan Smith is the number 16 who's making that tackle. He's replaced Brad Singleton. A good shift. 24 minutes of hard work, and they've been tested defensively, so they need to rotate and manage those energy levels. A little bit of red sweat for the Cumbrian as well.
Making some plays the ball. Here is Kevin Nagama, Fijian international. There is Sean O'Loughlin warming up for the last time for the Wigan Warriors. Sean O'Loughlin, before he bows out. Now then, cutting back in towards the middle of the field. That's the fifth tackle. And here is Fage. Fage dribbles a little kick in, and French well placed, and French returns it and then runs into Lachlan Coote's tackle.
Strange kick that, wasn't it? He had a lot of field to aim at, ended up kicking right into the path of Bevan French. But he was under some pressure, Theo Fage.
Theo Fage looking to join Romain Navarrete and Morgan Escaré as a French winner in the grand final. There's a penalty for a ball steal, and Wigan will welcome that.
Well, the tackle's more or less complete here when Gildart goes down to the ground, and then when you see the ball spill out like that, you know that there's going to be a play, and it was Theo Fage that just has a little tug of that ball.
It's a chilly night at the KCOM Stadium, about 2 degrees. The pitch is slick. There's not a lot of grass on it.
It's hard surface, greasy, slippy. We were up down there earlier on in the afternoon.
Players don't seem to be having a problem with it so far. Here is Smithies now. Another Halifax product, Halifax rugby league scene product, I should say, is Siddle. He was. That's 20-metre line. Wigan are on in Saints territory as Joe Greenwood plays the ball. Tony Clubb takes the pass from Luluai. Roby again leading the tackling effort. Hastings, oh, Gildart gets the pass away. Harnaker skips infield. Harnaker, can he get the ball down? Great defence from the Saints.
Wow.
Sort that one out.
Look at that. Look at the way that everyone is celebrating. And Matty Daniels has come on. He's getting a telling off from the referee, Chris Kendall. Just look at this. You've got Zach Hardaker now on the wing in place of Joe Burgess. The ball by Gildart. Look at Zach Hardaker trying everything, and the numbers that push across in a Saints jersey.
So Saints celebrate survival. Here is Louis McCarthy Scarborough. Welcome to the grand final, LMS.
Well, a carry and a tackle born out of the south. LMS tackled by Tony Clubb, 2 former teammates. Here's the attempt from Zach Hardaker. Bodies in the screen, arms around the ball, and that's commitment for the grand final.
Is that the closest we've come by either side?
Yeah.
We've had 28 minutes of absolutely pulverising defence here from both sides.
That's why nobody... The amount of people that said who's going to win the game, Wigan or Saints, I'm like that. Genuinely, you can't call this game.
Coote just outside the 40 as he put that kick in, and Jake Bibby claims it, loops it infield to Bevan French, and French can't make much progress because the chasers are there.
And an intact line as well from both sides. You have to say well done, conditioners, coaches, got players ready, got them at the right fitness levels, the right standard in terms of the rugby league ability for this game at this level. How many games they've played in the short space of time? Still not over yet.
Partington, Luluai's pass finds Bevan French. Needed good defence there from Regan Grace and Wellesby to stop Bevan French progress. Here is Tommy Luluai now, and Sean O'Loughlin is on in his 8th grand final. Luluai's kick. Makinson. Luluai just picking himself up now after that, putting that kick in.
James Roby it was, working hard from marker, putting pressure on the Wigan number 7.
Who is going to crack first?
I think I said it about 15 minutes ago that the arm wrestle was in action. We're still in the middle of this arm wrestle. Neither side prepared to give up. Neither side prepared to not fulfill the responsibility. An early kick from Roby again.
Looking for another 40-20. This one hasn't got the legs, and Hardaker is back to claim it. Spoke well in the week, Zach Hardaker, about the redemption, really, that Wigan have offered him in terms of his career. He's had his career highlights, he's had his career lowlights. Of course, he missed the 2017 grand final through suspension. But said that Wigan and the Wigan community have helped him immensely since he came to the club. He'd like to replay them with repay them with grand final success. Sean O'Loughlin would like to bow out. He doesn't owe them anything, but he'd like to bow out, having just turned 38 with another grand final success. Greenwood has lost the ball in the tackle. Matty Lees picks it up. And Saints will try and take advantage of that.
Again, it's just so physical in the communication from both sides, knowing that they don't want to be the player that misses a tackle or just doesn't quite plug that gap and leaves the space to go through.
There isn't any space.
It doesn't even have to be a big fancy player that's going to win this grand final as well.
Here is Louis McCarthy Scarisbrook. Just signed a new deal, one-year deal with the Saints, which is not bad for a lad from the East End of London. Millwall supporting. Lomax gets the pass away to Zebtea. Now then, here is Theo Fage. Fage, little kick on the end of and the ball comes back to Fage, and it's on the last now. Lucky break for Saints, maybe, as the ball ricocheted back into the hands of Theo Fage. That one just ends up in the hands of Jackson Hastings, but there is nowhere for him to go.
That was a poor end to the set from Saints in the right area of the field, but again, you've got to credit the Warriors the way that they're clinging on. Whenever there's been questions asked at a trial, and they're turning up, in numbers.
Grand finals often come down to the best kicking game. Saints had 2 attempts there. There was bodies in the frame for Wigan. You have to say that Wigan are on the better side of that kicking game. They're dealing with whatever Saints are throwing at them.
Well, here's Gildart. It's just a little bit of space now for Hardacre. Hardacre beats the first challenge. McCarthy Scarisbrook gets a hold of him. The support comes in eventually from Morgan Knowles. Hastings now lobs the ball over the top. Greenwood claims it. Holds onto it this time, but they're on just inside, in fact, Saints territory, and Luluai just has to drill the kick downfield, and Coots will get it at the second attempt. Again, great kick pressure from the Saints there.
This is outstanding. This is absolutely outstanding.
It is relentless, isn't it? It is absolutely relentless. 33 minutes we've had.
You know what, Wigan are having some decent joy whenever Jackson Hastings gets the ball, and it's a long cut-out ball, especially over the left-hand side of Oliver Gildart. This trying to find some space and letting the ball do the work.
Good run from Bentley, but going across the field. Joe Burgess is all right. He will be back. He's passed his head injury assessment. Good news for the Wigan Warriors. Here is Zebtea now. Runs behind Kyle Amor. Now Louis McCarthy Scarisbrook. Gildart making the tackle. Here is Coote now. Coote, little kick ahead. Makinson chasing. French is there and does well, Bevan French, because the chase was impressive. Hardacre sees off the challenge of Makinson, but in comes Bentley to bring him down.
Well, you'd think these next few carries are going to be really difficult. Willie Ikes has come from far over on the right-hand side, over to the left there to get this ball, knowing that it's all hands on deck here.
It's all hands on deck. It's man the barricades, because this is a grand final. There might not be a crowd here, but you would not have thought that the way these two sides are going at it. The intent is there. The intensity is there. Hastings kicks high.
Bill, I just want to draw your attention again. 27 metres.
Coote has made a hash of it. Sorry, Barry, but Coote has made a hash of that.
27 metres the Wigan Warriors made with ball in hand. They kick from deep, and that's a bad mistake from St Helens. I think that's just the 4th mistake, the 4th handling error in either side. Oh, desperately disappointed. Lachlan Coote, the quality fullback.
You don't see that happen very, very often. Adrian Lamb, knowing that this is an opportunity with half-time approaching. Whose ball should that have been? Might be the question at the back for Saints. Or Lachlan's pass is astray. Oh, dear me! And it's in the hands of Nagama, and an opportunity goes begging.
Confusion, wasn't there? What are we in? 4 minutes till half-time. Players exhausted mentally and physically. Adrian Lamb frustrated. Not an out-and-out chance, but everything, every little advantage you can get. Good shoulder again from Thomas Luluai. Well, there's the two contrasting emotions by both coaches.
Here is Coote. He'll be mighty relieved at the outcome of that. Here's Kyle Amor.
We've never got to half-time in a grand final without a score. Been scored. The nearest we got to it was Saints against Wigan.
We're not there yet.
No, nearest we got to it was Saints against Wigan 4 years ago. And Joe Burgess scored right on the buzzer, if you remember.
Fage on the last, hoists that kick. The ball is squirreled back, and it's French under pressure. The referee, I think, is going to bring him back. Was there a knock-on?
No shot clock because it's last time.
Yeah, it's a knock-on, isn't it? High kick. It was probably a little bit too high. Gave everybody too much time to think. A knock-on from Tommy Makinson, and even though Bevan French still secured possession, they'll go back and give the player the ball on the 10-metre line. Just look at the intensity in this defence again. 37 minutes on the clock, and players still running as hard and as fast as minute one.
They're going to welcome that half-time hooter and a respite from this, because, as I said, it has been absolutely non-stop.
Bill, everyone around you inspires you. If someone next to you gets a hit, like Matty Lees does, then everyone who gets back, their next one to get a hit. They don't want to be left waiting in a little hole, not getting up in the line, not doing the job and not working with the teammate.
Is Luluai. Luluai gets the ball to Bevan French. Lomax, Amor and Zectea making the tackle. Luluai on the last, kicks deep downfield, and Coote, that one just getting away from him. Here is Makinson now. Can one of these two break the deadlock before we hear that half-time hooter? Here is Regan Grace.
And do you know what as well, Bill? You've got to be a bit composed. Knowing that the clock has only got 2 minutes left to go before half-time, you don't need to score in this half to win the game. You just got to get through your sets and just keep doing what's cut the game like this.
Fage making inroads to that Wigan defence, but eventually Farrell and Hardacre make the tackle. Here is Lomax. Lomax brings it back to this right-hand side, and then Bentley changes direction. Good work from Hastings to stop Bentley's progress. It's kick from Coote, and there's a penalty there.
Well, this might be the first point. We see a bit of a coming together between Sam Powell and Kyle Amor.
James, go.
Pushing and shoving, real passion. Whenever these two sides play, there's passion on show. Controlling that passion, using that energy will be the key to this victory. Morgan Smithies, yeah, that's an out-and-out shoulder charge, that. You know, we've talked all week, haven't we? Those of us that are asked opinions on games like this. Who do you think's going to win? Well, I talked myself into a Saints win at the start of the week. I talked myself into a Wigan win by the end of the week. Now I'm completely confused. And most people are talking about a golden point.
Okay, yeah, you asked the question, how's that different to the other ones? In our view, that one's a shoulder charge, so you need to be very, very careful in that area. It's a penalty only.
Chris Kendall just giving Morgan Smithies a ticking off.
Shoulder charge. Two fellas,
for that shoulder charge, and we might get the first points of the game with under a minute to go, because Lachlan Coote is lining up the penalty attempt. He's kicked 68 goals this season to make him Super League's top goal kicker. But this is the first opportunity he has had in this contest. Scottish international, and the man who got 24 points last week in the playoff victory against the Catalan Dragons that sent Saints through to this grand final. So the shoulder charge by Wigan, and Coote, as the hooter sounds, it's not going to put him off. Coote's on target. And that was the final kick of the first 40 minutes. What a 40 minutes it has been in this grand final. As